All right, all right, all right. Listen up, everybody. Since we are no longer working with the BBTV network, I'm going to have to bring some ads to the Let's Just Chat, but not like we do not like we do the Motivational Mondays or anything like that, but just maybe at the beginning and the end, we're working out that salvation. But I want to go ahead and give y'all a heads up that you'll see a short ad before we get on and start chatting. All right, everyone. So stay tuned. All right, we're going to get started here in just a couple minutes.
Hello, I am Michelle Dickey, your instructor at Consulting for Heightened Awareness CHA Academy, an e-learning community for leveling up trauma healing and spiritual growth with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more. Beneficial courses to help you overcome trauma obstacles and to help you get better organized. Plus, we've got the Spiritual Warriors for Christ membership at CHA Academy. I look forward to seeing you there at CHA Academy, btbw.com. Love and light always.
There you go. All right. Yes, I know. I hear you, Chris. Where it said you didn't see no video. It's right, because I have the shutter off on the camera because I wanted to vocally tell you all what was coming so that you didn't just go, what's going on, right? I want to give you a heads up. And because I know I had said a while back that we weren't going to do a bunch of advertising on the Let's Just Chat show. And that still remains true, meaning we're not going to do a bunch. But God told me I got to bring something here. So we may just do it like that. You know what I'm saying? Just short, very short. We try to keep it a minute or less. Okay. So kind of like what we do with the Motivational Monday and then the CHA show. But we're not going to do it every 15 minutes with the Let's Just Chat. All right. Because that takes away from the content. And, no, it's okay. You didn't know. Okay. You didn't know until now. And so now everybody else will know that when we go live with the Let's Just Chat show, you're likely going to see a short video ad or hear a short video ad, and then we'll be ready for the live and we'll get into the topic and all of that. So I'm guessing that means you all can hear me just fine. Just no, I'm not going to ignore you, but I it's all good. And when we see the demon spirit video, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. It is something else, isn't it? Absolutely. You're welcome. Okay, there we go. All right. And so I really want to say thank you to you all for understanding that we must promote. And I know I didn't want to bombard our Let's Just Chat show with a bunch of ads, so we're not. Maybe one here or there. Just one quick thing, because I do need to treat these things as if we're reaching that new viewer every day. So we want to keep that in mind too, for anybody who is embarking on creating content and you're looking into doing videos. That's a mindset that we've got to have, is that you never know. Once we upload that video or after we go live, we never know, right? If we're reaching that brand new viewer, right? A brand new subscriber every single day. And because we are. So we have to treat these videos as such. And so that's what I learned from one of the other how-to gurus, YouTube gurus. And it made sense. It resonates with me. And so that's how we do it. That's how we think when we get up here. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. And you all have already heard the quick Academy ad in the beginning. So that link is listed below for quicker access. Yes. All right. And so you can always click on all courses to see what we have available. Everything is to help you all level up that trauma healing and spiritual growth. Absolutely. We are a growing community of spiritual warriors for God. We are a growing community. Let that sink in. Okay. Okay. The one that I just that brief, like I think it's only 37 seconds. You're talking about that one. Yeah, I think that one is it's brief, it's to the point, and it gets the message across. So thank you, Chris. That's the one that I want. God wants me to push a lot more because you never know. And so we want the academy to continue growing. We've got the community. Yes, I have a fun fact 48 and another Bible study. It's actually not quite a short Bible study. I think it's about 8 minutes or so, but still, I had some messaging that had to go with it. So you're going to get those. Thank you for your patience. Our Patreon Truth Analyzer podcast. We've been trying to get to that, and we're going to as soon as we can. It's just right now, upon the discovery of some plugs in a place that needs some extra self-care, that's taking some time because I've got to, it's like God said, okay, there's 2 areas of main focus right now for the intensive self-care because God revealed to me that, because where those plugs are, meaning bruises, are in the exact spot for when you sit down to do what? Use the restroom. Exactly. And I went, I see what the enemy tried to do. Okay, because, right. And I was like, that's the culprit right there. So God said, I need you to, so he says, some heavier self-care on a couple areas because because my autonomic nervous system is fine. Remember, our thoughts control that sucker. And so God revealed that to me. He said, because of the normal muscle functions back there, it was tricking me into thinking that the ANS was still under construction. No, God said that was finished when I broke that last negative association. He said, that was it. That was it. And so each time we move, right? Each time we move, our buttock muscle, normal muscle function. Okay, so the normal muscle function was trying to trick me, right? Because of the muscle movement in those areas. But at the same time, that was prolonging those bruises, you see? Aha. Oh, I know, because the Jezebel case study thought, remember, they've got the demon of assumption. She assumed I was going to be sitting for 3 to 5 hours in my car like I had been doing before. See, they don't understand the power of God at all. They don't understand that God's like, you ain't got to do it like that no more. So anyhow, the Matrix, it's not a wonder that these narcissists out here are all about new and shiny, right? The shiny new objects, right? As they are searching out for their target, right? They're sniffing out those of us who are still wearing our hearts on our sleeves, right? That's what they're looking for. And new and shiny. We start to notice the toddler dancing eyes early on when we get in the spiritual awakening. And that's not normal for an adult to have either. So like when we go, chosen ones, when we go someplace and it's new, we don't have toddler dancing eyes. Right. No, that's not normal. So if we catch somebody looking at us and we see, that's not a sparkle, that's not light, and that's not life. I want y'all to think about it. For those of you who have been around an actual toddler, when they get a new toy, That's what I'm talking about. How they have that dancing going on with their eye. Okay, well, a grown adult should not have that, but they do. The narcissists do. That's one of the things that we tend to notice quickly. Because I said to myself, hold up a second. That's not normal for an adult to have that. You know, just like the puppy dog look. Yeah, I said, that's not normal for a grown adult to have that. That can't be right. And so, God brought that back to my remembrance that with the ex-psycho roommate, I got tricked into thinking that he was really interested in everything that I was saying. No, these evildoers are only listening for flaws. They're only listening for, let's say, past abusive relationships because they're going to want to try to one up. Yep. And since the ex-psycho couldn't, that Jezebel case study thought that she could one-upmanship him. I'm telling you. How do I know that? Because many times I heard her say stuff like, oh, I love that. It's like his name is ex-roommate psycho or ex-psycho roommate, his first, middle, and last name. She was mocking me, you all. I'm not stupid. I knew exactly what she was doing. And so whenever she said stuff like that, I was like, okay, God's not mocked. Remember that. And so she thought that she could, destroy us in the physical. No. So, yes. Oh, it's not more bruising, Chris. It's bruising that has been there the whole time. I just didn't notice it yet. You see? Because it's in places that I don't have eyes in the back of my head. Okay, never mind. So, thank you, Chris. I'm making a trip to get one of those. Yeah, that's going to help because each time I would sit down, that would do what? Exactly. That would prolong the pressure there. It would prolong the bruising, which served as a plug for proper circulation. See, we're not dumb, y'all. Chosen ones, we're smart. Because remember, the enemy attacks our circulation. Of course. Because without proper circulation, our body doesn't get the nutrients. You know, our muscles, our joint, things like that, aren't going to get the nutrients that it needs on a regular basis. And so, therefore, that would prolong any pain and suffering. So we're not stupid. So, yes, thank you. I was looking at those on Amazon, but God told me, he said, go to the place, go to the store, and take a look see because, yeah. Anyway, thank you for that. We already went there, and so okay. So you put a message, an enemy attacking the right side about my right eye. Yep. Exactly. There you go. Right side, your right eye. Since discovering it's a symptom of radio frequency poisoning, it started clearing up. Bingo. See, that's the thing. The enemy does not want people to understand that underneath everything that we're experiencing, it's because of radio frequency poisoning. Yep. So, kudos. Okay, I will get to that. Absolutely. Because, yep, the look you just gave is the narc waiting for the juicy info to use against us later. Absolutely. Right, spent all day trying to work out what in the world was wrong with it. And then I gotcha. See, that's why I know. For those who don't know this, the enemy tells on himself through the human host that are demonically possessed. I went to go and see a professional, so-called, because I don't, again, have eyes in the back of my head. I wanted to get a second look to see if there were staples in my head at the time. That's all I wanted, was a quick look to tell me yay or nay. Of course, I got lied to, but that's okay. Okay, that's okay. And then they were trying to diagnose me with something that, because as soon as I heard the word virus, I cut her off. I was like, nah, because I told the so-called professional, I said, I know what's going on with these at the corner. It's not the first time that I've had this happen. It's lack of oxygen, y'all. Poor circulation. Remember, the two areas of the body where our circulation, right, is not necessarily the best are genitals and the eyes. The enemy knows this. So y'all can put two and two together and realize that there's a certain label, right, for this thing that it's made up. Lack of oxygen getting to where it needs to get. So the tip I have is, because I do it all the time. Breathe, blink, walk around a little bit. Breathe, blink, and it goes away. So over time. And so I know those two bruises, right, those two plugs, God already told me. He said, yeah, he said, that's the culprit right there. And you're sitting on it. So that answers a whole lot of questions that I had about why certain things were still happening, getting in and out of the car. Now I know why. I mean, it's not bad. It's just I know to take my time. And it goes away. But I was like, okay, now I understand why. Okay, we got this. So guess what? I'm going to show y'all something. Yeah, God told me, he said, all right, then he said, every time you sit down, he said, I want you to sit on this. That's an ice pack. Now I want you to sit on that. I said, okay. So there you go. Chosen ones are no stranger to these kinds of things. And we know, ice pack. You know, no thing can stop God. Right? Yep, you thought it might be. See, that's the thing. That's another thing that doesn't exist, Chris. They don't know about radio frequency, basically, so they're not going to rule it in as a cause. No, And I'm going to tell y'all something that, you know, the more I discover about the autonomic nervous system and how radio frequency is used to manipulate it, not all of the matrix, if you will, but so a lot of those things just are appearing more and more as a big joke in the make-believe world, because Jesus cleans everything. Another reason why the enemy wants to keep as many people away from Jesus as possible. And chosen one, we know where he's at. He's on the right hand of God. Where God? He's a spirit within. So where else would Jesus be? In spirit. Galatians 2:20, right? It's no longer us who walk, but Christ who walks through us. And it is through Christ who strengthens us. Let that sink in. Because these evildoers out here who try to take out God's chosen one fail every time. Because when you are strong in spirit and you know that it's Christ who strengthens you and that it's the power of God on the inside of you, they will always underestimate that. But chosen one, we don't. Because I know a lot of people be like, after what happened to you, you're still up here standing to speak, teach, and preach. That's the power of God in action right there. Let that sink in. And not only that, I tell people his name is Jesus. And so, they're not ever going to understand that. They don't want to. The evildoers. Because their job is to get as many people dependent on man instead of being dependent on God. Yep, stay away from the carnal, stay with Jesus. There you go. That's it. We're told, right? He said, yeah, to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So it's beautiful. Life is beautiful with Jesus. It really is. It's simple, creative. And so we're always working on stuff, right? Yeah, when we get in our purpose. Got that vision board going. And then God had to step in and say one project at a time. So I had to talk with him today about which one. I have the top 3. Here's the tip I have. Okay? Because once your vision board gets pretty full, say you have 15 plus things, all right, you want to pick the 3 top projects that you would like to complete or that God needs you to complete. Now, the order that you put them in doesn't matter. God will order your steps. So, for example, on my little post-it note, the second bullet point, the second one is what God told me he wants me to do first. Okay. And so we're gearing up on how we're going to piece that together because I have no idea, how long that's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to be. So we're just it's going to be one day at a time. So it's one project at a time, one day at a time. But most of our morning and when we're not up here live and doing some other work, it's major self-care right now. So that's all we can do. And so it's like, all right, so I had to get it in my mind that, okay, that's all we can do is to walk it out and ice pack and everything will heal as it's supposed to. Because I had to ask, that's why I asked God yesterday. I said, okay, I know some of these spots should already be completely cleared up. What's going on here? Because I know that Jesus also hastens things on his time. Because from before that happened, okay, I remember, I was not accident prone per se, but I would, like I had a bruise on my elbow once because I whacked it. And so I was on a business trip. And so I remember that I said, okay, I turned it over to Jesus. And within 48 hours, it was gone. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? Some of these plugs should be gone by now. And they're like brown and yellowish. So they're on the way out. It's just why it's taking longer than it should. And that's when God revealed to me about the 2 that are right there in that spot on the backside. So I was like, oh, that makes all the sense in the world because keeping it real, y'all, how many times have we sat on the toilet a little too long and our legs start to go to sleep? Okay, there you go. And so we knew it was time to get off there. Well, that would be why that area was targeted. Exactly. And so what's happening is my ANS, right, okay, in my mind, the normal muscle function was trying to trick me into thinking that my ANS was still responding to a perceived threat that we have already overcome. We broke that negative association. So, yeah. Okay, now back to the new and shiny. Remember, every target of a narcissist is new and shiny. And so once the shiny wears off, because they get bored easy, toddler and adult body, once that shiny wears off, that's when the discard phase begins, right? There you go. And many of us have heard the narcissist tell us that we're no fun anymore. And I'll share with you all, because the ex-psycho roommate, I heard, yeah. Not only did he say, I've changed, right? Well, we're supposed to, for the better, but I was losing interest as I was nearing the end of my master's degree. I was losing interest in going to bars and socializing. I was losing interest in all of that. I lost interest in it. And so, yeah, doesn't matter. Now, if I go and place a to-go order somewhere and I sit and wait on it, I'm not socializing or anything like that. I'm just waiting on my food to go. But I'm not hanging out. I don't have any desire to do so. And so he did, because I stopped really wanting to do that. Now, we would still go out to eat at some places that happened to have a bar, but it was to eat dinner. And I remember him saying that I was no fun anymore. Okay. Because I no longer wanted to party, hang out. I was putting all that stuff away. Now, it was just happening. It's not like I even had to really think about it. It's just that I lost interest. And so even when I went back to North Carolina, it never came back. That desire to go and do that never came back. Glory be to God. Because that's all part of putting the old version of us away. We got to put the old version away. Because we realize something else too. I know for myself, a lot of the narcissists that I met throughout my life, I met them in a bar. So, right. Well then, why would I want to keep doing that? No. And so, yeah. Right. The pins and needles. Right. Exactly. Right. I wasn't entertaining enough for him. Right. It is the conditional acceptance. There you go. Exactly. Right. It's more important to stand while I teach and preach. Yeah, because of that. And, right, but the Heavenly Father says, I can sit for X amount of minutes. And when I do so, He wants me to sit on the other. Just make sure you're sitting on that. Now, in the car to go get something, that's a different story. But God hastening it on His time. So it's just a matter of mere days because I looked at it. I had a mirror, and I actually looked in the mirror, and I saw it starting to get to that brownish yellowish. So that's a good sign. And that's why God says, okay, let's speed it up. Because I still go on walks. Yeah, that's how we're walking. Okay? And when I do that, I got my big thing, my to-go thing, and I put some of my superfood and add some water, and I make a juice. And I'm sipping on that sucker while we walking for circulation, right? Yeah, God guiding our step, getting them nutrients back. And so I know I feel a little ping here or there, but that's just letting me know that, okay, so that nerve is back awake. So there you go. But yes, you are correct. And that's why I move around a little bit. But when we stop, that's what the new and shiny is all about, y'all. And when I go on my walk, right, and I think I shared that with y'all in one episode or another video, but where I see on these little things, it's the same old. There's always something coming to, and I'm like, yeah, where? Because I've been here for 8 months now, and I'm like, no. I know that there's a certain day of the week, once a month, they have a car show. Okay. But it's not, that's fine and nice. But I don't see anything, always something new coming to this city. I don't see it. It's just really the same old. But see, chosen one, we don't get bored easily. No, we do not get bored easily. Glory be to God. We can't, because our vision board keeps us busy. And so that reminds me that, yeah, it is all about that entertainment in the Matrix. That's what they're all about. That's what they want, is entertainment for the toddler in adult body. I'm telling y'all, the more it sinks in, the more that we observe out here, oh my gosh, it is so childish. It's all child's play. And we're like, wow, it's amazing. Okay, do we get pop concert there in Orlando? They got events and stuff going on all the time in that neighborhood, but I'm actually outside of there, so I'm next door. I'm outside, but they have things coming to that city all the time, and we also know what else is in that city too, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, they have other stuff, but it really I don't keep up with that because I'm not interested in going to those either anymore. Whereas, when the old version of us used to enjoy that, right? We wanted to go to concerts and stuff like that. Not anymore. No. At least not now. Not in this season. I can tell you that much. You never know what God's going to do tomorrow. I don't know. And we're not to think on tomorrow either. We have to deal with the here and now, today. But everything that we see inside that matrix is all about new and shiny. When the shiny wears off, remember the glitz and glam, right? Remember, y'all, there's no such thing as a celebrity. That's all part of the glitz and glam to keep these toddler and adult bodies entertained. And then also to keep us entertained before God awakened us. And so we also learn that as chosen ones mature and evolve as we're supposed to, striving to become more Christ-like on a daily basis. That, as we're putting away those childish things, like we're supposed to. So as we put away childish things, we begin to notice how childish the matrix is. You see? Exactly. It's a bread and circus show to entertain the masses and distract them from what is really going on. Bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. To distract them from what's going on with radio frequency poisoning. That's one. And the societal level of narcissistic abuse. Think about it. Because the societal level of narcissistic abuse, that's what's using radio frequency as a weapon for deception, mind control, right? And then also to slap labels on people. It's all the enemy just trying to keep his fallen Babylonian matrix dirty. Because remember, the evildoers are obsessed with external cleanliness. Think about that. Whereas we focus on the internal, and the external will follow. So we focus on the internal. Do that inner work. So that we can get to the other side of that rainbow where we get that balance that we need to have for proper discernment, that heightened awareness. Because there's a lot more people out here who know about that stuff. They just haven't found this ministry yet. And so let's all pray that they do. We stay in prayer that those who are aware find us, because I know they're looking for a community of like mind, like you all were, right? That's why God had us get up here and co-create with him this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ, because we see what's really going on. But I will tell you this too, be careful of the narrative, y'all. Oh man, let me set the record straight real quick. Be careful of the narrative that there is a group of elites who are in control of. No, they're not. What's the one thing we learn about these narcissists? They're out of control. They always try to control things outside of their control. And what do we know happens? Right. The more they try to control things outside their control, the less control of themselves and other things they actually have. So that's why that narrative never sat right with me. Even down in the rabbit hole, they were trying to convince me that there's a group of elites, which don't exist either. That's all part of the dog and pony show on the world stage. So they want you to believe it's part of, it's part of the script, right? To get people to believe that there's just a handful of elites who are in control of everything. No, they're not. They're not in control of anything. You know, the crazy making with the algorithms is a great example. They can't control those. Nobody can. Nobody can. Because we're all adding hashtags to the poll every day. All right. So, So the Matrix just like to think it has control over people and things when it doesn't. The Matrix has no control. It's just an illusion thereof. Because they can't. So don't fall for that narrative. There's not a group of elites that are in control of everything, because they're actually not in control of anything, because they can't. It's an illusion. It's to try and trick people into developing that scarcity mindset. I understand that there's truth mixed with lies out there, and that one there is a lie. Okay, that is a big fat lie. Because the reality is, those so-called elites, if you will, they're just playing the game of narcissism along with all the other evildoers. That's all they're doing. Playing head game. Because as long as we sit there and think that that's true, we're going to be doing what? That's right. We're going to develop and we're going to keep the scarcity mindset. Let that sink in. What are we supposed to do in God's reality, right? With Jesus, Jesus gives abundantly. Got to get that abundant mindset. Not going to have that abundant mindset if you sit there believe, right? If you're sitting there believing that they're just a small group of elite that's in control of everything. No, they're not. Okay, because it's a make-believe world out there. And so don't fall for that narrative, because that'll have you sitting in this little shell feeling as though you're not ever going to become financially stable. That's not true. God says, I will provide. God is going to make a way. He always does. And so we got to trust God. So that's another thing. If you believe that false narrative about people having control over certain things, it's all part of the script on the world stage. Because those are the same stories that have been going around for years and years and years. And it's also partly to fearmonger. Because remember, the enemy knows what we think in our hearts, so are we. And our thoughts control our autonomic nervous system. So if we continue to believe and think that Well, then, right. I mean, why even try then? If there's this small group of elite that's in control of everything, well, then why try? Why even try? That's what the enemy wants. The chosen one, that's why you don't fall for that. Because they really don't have control over anything. They can't. Because no one and nothing can take control away from God. Oh, the narcissists try to, but they fail miserably at it every single time. They try to take power and control away from God, and God's like, nice try. So keep that in mind. Don't believe that false narrative. Right. Exactly. All part of the script on the world stage, right? To reduce people to a number or a statistic. Classic right there. Part of the game of narcissism. That's right. Got to keep your mind clean. Praying and willing for CHA and for this YouTube channel. Thank you to all who do that. And so, an unstable mind and chaotic. There you go. That's a great point as to why you don't believe that false narrative about a group of elites in control of everything. Because they're not. They have a double mind. What do we know? James 1:8, right? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So they're the wicked out here, right? They have an unstable mind. Well, an unstable mind can't have control of anything. Let that sink in. Right. We love you too. Thank you. And so, right, we can only control ourselves. That's it. But the enemy does not want people to do that. The enemy doesn't want anyone to figure that out. Because when we figure that out, you pretty much figured life. Because, yeah, there's so many things that false narrative can do to the mind that the enemy knows it. Right? Yeah, cause people to give up and give in. Why even try? Because see, when we step out of that comfort zone and we take that leap of faith, whoo, let me tell you. That's right. Take that leap of faith. Trust God 100%. Actually, 110%, 150%. Trust God with everything we have. Remember, God said, right? We got to worship Him in spirit and in truth. That's in John 4:24. Because it is vital. Because we got to keep our mind clean and stay spiritually minded for that life and peace. And watch Jesus provide more abundantly each and every single day. As He also heals from within every single day. And so, I'm looking at the clock because you're welcome. Because it's important for us. And so, if I'm not going to adhere to some of the hype out here as far as using different backgrounds all the time, I'm not, I will bring, obviously, you'll have new content all the time coming out across all social. So for those who haven't done so yet, the My Social page of the website, that link is listed below, is a great way, the easiest way, really. And also the direct link to the My Social page, CHA social platform, that link's down below too. So you can access it either way. That's the quickest way right there, is the CHA social platform page. It'll take you right to that website page, and you can see where we're at on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, across the board. So yeah, let me go ahead and give y'all a heads up. For example, where we're at on Instagram, and then Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, and then also on TikTok. Yep, at the website domain there. We're also on Pinterest. Okay, and we are slowly but surely getting, so that's just to give y'all a few examples, okay, of where we put content out across all social. Okay, so we're gearing up. We do a YouTube video promo that goes across all platforms where applicable. That would be Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, sometimes Telegram. So because of the self-care that we've got to do, it is time consuming, because there's only so much I can do, because that ice pack, I've got this, and so I can I've got this, so I can, tie it and walk around with it for a little while. But yeah, that's only going to last for so long. Well, and do things. And then the other ice packs that I have, they only last maybe about 15 minutes or so. They don't really last as long, which is fine, because that's where these come in. Right? I have stretchy. And so if I want to put it around my cab, I put one side and then I wrap it. And so I can be doing that. So stuff like that. Yes, I'm just sharing with y'all for anybody who might need these tips. Okay, if you are needing to ice pack like that. Let me get a couple and I'll show you, because it's not complicated. It's these little beady thingies. And then I have these clamps. And so, like these right here. Right? They go in the freezer. It takes about an hour to get cold. Okay? And so I put the beaded side, one on each. And then on each side. And then I wrap. This is a believe it or not, this is a terry cloth, if you will. It's the type you use to dry your car off after washing. Okay, I got it because it was thinner than a dish towel. And so usually I get it wrapped around there. And then once it's around the leg, that's what I'm saying. It takes time to do this. And a narcissist, if this happened, well, we know it happened to the Jezebel that did it to me, but they don't have the kind of patience, because you got to have patience to do something like this. And so there, I have it clamped, and it holds them in place, so I walk around with them. Okay? But it takes time, because I got to sit down and put that on. And so I just wanted to share it for whoever needs that, because even during the detoxing from the trauma, I don't know, you might find something surfaced that you didn't know was there. It's possible. So this is a tip for that. It's good to be minor, but that's all you can really do. Oh, and then also increase your vitamin C. If you start to see bruising, increase your vitamin C intake and get you some ice packs. Okay? Oh, it works. I mean, I would not be doing it if it didn't. And I know. The narcissist, if it happens to them, which, they don't want to wait. They will not take the time to do that for themselves. Remember, they don't have any patience. Okay, narcissists don't have patience. And so what they were hoping I would do, right, as she attempted to turn me back into a baby, literally, because that's how the devil sees humanity, you all, as toddlers. That's why they get treated as such and continue to behave as such. and they become dependent on man. And so that's what she was hoping to do, was, right, make it difficult for me to sit or stand, hoping that we can do all through Christ who strengthens us. It's all mindset. And then you're welcome for the bruising tips, because, well, yeah, those ice packs that I just showed you, the beaded one, yeah, I get about 15 minutes out of each one, roughly. It depends on how hot the area is. See, that's what I want to tell y'all. As we're detoxing and getting that excess salt out, you're going to notice places in the body that are hotter than you would. Yeah, you didn't know that before. Right, because our ANF was in a bit of a slumber. So we didn't notice it. But after we start to decrease that sodium intake, we're going to start to notice that. And in my case, and some of y'all maybe, where they're bruising, I felt the most heat. So there's for whoever needs that. So wherever you feel the most heat, that's where you want an ice pack. That's right. And they do. They get a little warm. I got to put them back in the freezer. And so, like I said, for those, it takes about an hour for them to get cold enough to use. And so, God had me get that bigger one. And now we know why. Because I needed it more for more than just this area here, obviously. So, it is what it is. But yeah, for whoever needs that, and ice packing, and one day at a time. Cannot rush that process. And so you never know. That's why people, you take it slow. Take it slow with the detoxing. One day at a time. Not gonna rush nothing. No, there's no reason to. No reason to rush nothing. That's right. And so, as far as us, we're not about the new and shiny chosen ones, right? Yeah, we're not. Because, well, we're not easily impressed. But I will share with you, we start to do things differently in God's reality. We start to do things we've never done before. So, it's new when we first do it because we've never done it before, but then okay. So, yeah, the example I have for you all is, okay, I've got my lunch, and so I'm walking back and forth. I have some ice packs on, and so I am doing this in between bites. And then I finish my lunch before we put the lipstick on. And so I've never done that until here. And I was like, okay, that's true. And that helped the ANF break negative associations as well. When we start making note of things that we're doing now that we didn't do in the previous environment that were a threat to the ANF. And that helps big time. So we start doing new things. Let's see, I'm trying to think of another example. Doing new things that we've never done before. Oh, for me, I had never made deviled eggs before in my entire life. And we finally did. I took the yolk out of the hard-boiled egg. I put some mustard and mayo in there. And I whipped it up. Right? And then I put, y'all know deviled eggs, right? That's what they call them. Okay? And so I had never done that before. And I finally did. And so I left it with just the mayo and mustard, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and then topped it off with paprika. So I left it open, right? I left it open to where I can put a jalapeno in there every once in a while. Yeah. So there's that. And I was like, okay, yay, finally. The first time in my life. I've always eaten what others have made deviled egg wise, but I never made it myself until the other day. And I was like, oh, how cool. And so just things like that. Doing new things. And then as I'm doing them, I talk to that ANS and say, look at this. We've never done this before. Check it out. So doing things that we've never done before. Because we're living our life with God now. And Jesus. And so we know we don't have to do things the same way anymore. A lot of things we will do the same way. Another thing we're doing different that helped the ANS break a negative association is I changed the pattern for when I brush my teeth. In other words, after I finish my morning tea, right, and I wash up the coffee cup, or the cup, if you will, my teacup, right? So after it gets, either water gets run in it or it gets washed, one of the two. Because I always would immediately go and brush my teeth after finishing my green tea. Because, that's right, green tea is known to stain your teeth. But I will tell you that I now know that's not entirely true. Because since I stopped smoking cigarettes, that's right, no more stain, no more new stain. It's more from the cigarette than it was the green tea. That's one of the first things I happened to notice shortly after quitting cigarettes. It's like, that's interesting. And so we also know how radio frequency plays a role in things. That's right. Because green tea in the old environment always left a bunch of residue in the pot. And so while the smoke alarm was throwing a temper tantrum, putting out that extra frequency into the environment, the teapot was doing that. So I would rinse it, I still run it through the dishwasher occasionally. But I'll have to put bleach in it to get all of that residue off. Knock on wood, since that's been fixed, the battery in it, it's not leaving residue. I went, oh my gee, that's quite the connection. Right, so radio frequency, messes with my green tea somehow. Crazy, huh? Yeah, right, your teeth and your fingers. I know. I remember sharing with y'all that I've never understood. I couldn't figure out why my thumbs would always be kind of yellowish. Now we know why. Yeah. Yes, trying new dishes. That's the other thing. That's right. That's the other thing. There's tons of different places around here that have cuisines I have never had before. So we're going to do new things. Absolutely. There you go. Okay, that's a great way to put it. Thank you. Yeah, we don't have the butterfly mind. I like that. That describes the narcissist very well. Right, we don't have the butterfly mind either, hopping from new thing to new thing. Exactly. If we know that we are consuming content that is helping us and it resonates with us, we're going to stay with it. We don't have that need for looking for something new all the time because we understand that new wears off, right? After it's introduced to us, it's new at first, but once it's no longer new. And yes, the deviled egg worked out just fine. Thank you. So, I know we're still testing out that theory, but it's so far, because I know that was one of the things I noticed this morning. I said, hold on a second. Because the last time I rinsed out the teapot, I just used soap and water and got as much off as I could. And so now, and I looked and I went, hold up a second. I noticed that this morning there's no residue. Again, I said knock on wood, but I was like, that's very interesting. Yes, it is very, very interesting that that kind of radio frequency can interfere with my green tea like that. Yeah, crazy, but intriguing too, because now I know why in that previous environment with all of the other frequency going on, why the teapot did that all the time. Yep, we now know why. So I'm looking at the clock still. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I want to say it has something to do with while it was brewing and that the extra frequency coming from that smoke alarm. I don't know. Something in the air, what have you. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. We noticed those things, and it's relatively crazy, but that's right. Chosen ones don't have that butterfly mind. Exactly. I like that term because it really fits. Because we're not out here, we don't care about the glitz and glam. And I will share with you all that when I stopped celebrating the pagan holidays, one of them that always did kind of, before we knew, okay, before I understood the evil behind it, that time of year when all those bright and shiny decorations and lights and all that would go up. And yeah, I that used to bring me joy. But when you learn the truth about those things, it no longer brings you joy. That's right. And so we overcome that. But it wasn't me being impressed by all the glitz and glam. It was just that it was that most wonderful time of the year, right? So we stopped doing that because when you know the truth about these things, come on now, be not deceived. God says, be not deceived. And so we stopped celebrating those things. And, regardless, the world's going to continue to celebrate it because they keep celebrating. That's right. And so I just wanted to get on here and cover some things with you all and go over that because it really, once it sinks in that that's what the Matrix is all about, is new and shiny, then it becomes clearer as to why the narcissists are all about new and shiny all the time. New and shiny, just like a toddler. They get bored easy. And so that's why. And chosen ones don't. Yeah, and I remember that. And there have been some who have asked me or made the statement that you must not get bored too easily. No. We don't. Because there's always something to co-create with our Creator. And there's always something that we can be doing. We don't necessarily need to be entertained anymore. In fact, eventually, chosen ones, as we grow and mature, we don't have a need to be entertained. We know how to entertain ourselves. We stay busy. We work out that salvation with God as we're supposed to. And so, yeah. You could send something off about that holiday for a long time. Okay, good. I'm glad you could. I had to be taught that. And But it resonated with me when I learned about the one letter in that name. All you have to do is rearrange one letter, and you got Satan. So I was like, oh. But I will tell you that as soon as I started loading up them bags and getting rid of the decoration, I felt God jump for joy. And once I got rid of that first bag, it was liberating, because I never realized how heavy that demon of obligation was for us to have to buy gifts for people we don't even like. So it was very liberating, and it just made it easier to get rid of more stuff. And because it made God happy, made me happy. Think about that. When we do what we've got to do for God's glory, and we please God, make God happy, make us happy. That's where we get it from. Yes, being creative. Being creative is entertaining for us. And we realize that co-creating with our Creator is exactly what we do. We co-create our reality in God's reality. It's really simple. Remember, God is a simple God. All right, everyone. So that's up this episode for today. Because I have got a few things. I'm making another superfood. This one is just carrot, broccoli, zucchini, yellow squash, celery, great northern bean, and green peas. So it's more of a combination of neutral and beneficial on the blood type diet. And so there you go. All right, so we're going to go whip that up. And then we've got some other things to bring y'all. All right, so there you go. But chosen one, yeah, we're not after the new and shiny all the time. That would be the narcissists who are after the new and shiny all the time. And the Matrix pushes that narrative. And so it makes it easier for us to understand where they get it from. We're not excusing it, but it just helps us to get a clearer picture of, okay, that's why this is happening. All right, everyone. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. Yes. Okay. Yep, trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true technique, and more here and at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. That link is listed below for quicker access. Some of you might need to copy and paste that link to view what CHAAcademyBTBW.com offers to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. All right, everybody, sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.